Living every day in your head for free. You can tap away, but I will not hear you scream. You can break the keys, spread your toxicity, your world outside reality. In your room, a little hideaway, but you let it through. Enough to go insane, living in the dark hasn't treated you well. You're building your own prison cell. Hey, wait, don't waste it on me. Spite, lies telling you, don't waste it on me. Did I brush you off? Is it your lack of friends? We never met, even if you pretend. Am I in your debt? I don't owe you nothing. Don't say something you'll regret. Hey, wait, don't waste it on me. Spite, lies telling you, don't waste it on me. Hate, rage, don't waste it on me. Spite, lies telling you, don't waste it on me. Rage, don't waste it on me. Spite, lies telling you, don't waste it. I'm telling you, don't waste it. Lies telling you, don't waste it. Maybe I'm a little young, but you don't know what I've become. Can't you see it in my face? But we've been living in disguise, but you can see the killer in my eyes. I've got a look you can't escape. 僕の未来は誰にもわからない。
Good morning. Are we ready for some coffee with PeePaw this morning? I apologize for the one to you guys. I wasn't able to do a stream yesterday. I had this whole work thing I had to deal with, whatever, end of the year stuff. You know how that kind of crap is, right? Yes, PeePaw is up and ready to go. So hopefully it didn't run to your day too much yesterday. We got quite a bit to get into today. And hang on here. Where is this at? Just a second here. Let me find where this. I forgot to get one little thing up and ready to go this morning, so I apologize. All right. So I'm going to do something this morning that I don't know. I know a lot of people catch grief about this kind of stuff, but I just want to, I guess, draw just real quick attention to it, and then we'll move on, whatever. So I don't know if you can notice here this morning, but I'm drinking out of a official PeePaw coffee mug. Yeah. So if you would like to have your own PeePaw coffee mug, it's honestly, it's not a bad mug. It isn't. The only thing that I have as a criticism, and I have no choice over this, is the size of the mug. The mug is it's your average, I guess, like 12-ounce mug or whatever, right? I prefer a bigger mug. I've got bigger hands, and so, as you can see, I can't actually get all my hand or fingers inside the mug like I have to, so I have to do the two finger thing here like this. See, um, maybe let me go full screen here. Maybe you can see it a little bit better. I have to do the little two finger hold, right, and but it's not a bad mug. Um, and it's $10. I literally set the price to where it's basically the cost of the mug because I was like, you know, because it's just not a big. I like a really big, because I got some big mittens here, right? Big mitts in my hand, whatever you want to call it. I got some big hands, and I like to be able to put my hands inside the mug when I'm drinking. But what I can tell you is this: is the caps are really good quality. I bought my wife one of the T-shirts here. She really likes it. She says it's extremely comfortable. Um, I bought one of these hoodies for my mom because she's always cold, and she said it was extremely comfortable. It was soft and it was very warm. So, um, and of course, there's a shirt there. I've got one of these for the men's T-shirt, and it's really nice. But anyway, and of course, there's a little sticker if you just want a little sticker or if you want a mouse pad or whatever. But anyway, if you are so inclined and you would like to purchase some merch, the link will come up, or I think you can even type explanation mark. I think it's called either merch or store. I can't remember off the top of my head what it is. But anyway, um, if you would like to, I think it's probably a little bit too late to get it for like by Christmas or whatever. But anyway, you can, if you're inclined and want to do something like that, and you can have your own official PeePaw coffee mug, I guess, while you're um, having coffee with PeePaw morning, right? Anyway, so let's get into some because I have got like 1,000 tabs open here this morning on my browser. We've got just a ton of stuff to get into. So um, let's see. Let's get into it here. All right. So there's been a lot of, I guess, a safe word to say, there's been a lot of uproar on Twitter of recently some of the things that Elon has been doing with Twitter. Um, so he had put out this tweet uh, last night late. Um, Said Twitter will start incorporating mute and block signals from Blue Verified, not Legacy Blue, um, as downvotes. So what does that mean? Okay, so like I'm taking from this Blue Verified, right? Like I've got a blue verified check mark, right? I pay $8 a month or whatever it is for it, right? Which allows me to upload longer videos. It gives me a chance to edit my tweets because I'm dyslexic and I'm all the time misspelling or reversing letters in the words and stuff like that, right? I'm taking it that people who have that, so if they mute a channel or not a channel, but if they mute a a person on Twitter, or if they just outright block somebody, that is going to be like a downvote for that person, and it's going to make their Twitter account or less visible in the algorithm. I assume that's what that means. Uh, that's how I'm taking it anyway. Um, so this guy Lex Friedman, who's Lex Friedman here? He's host of the Friedman podcast. He's a research scientist at MIT. He says, very cool idea, creates an incentive for civility and good faith effort, even while criticizing. Yes, it does, but then you're going to always have people that just are, I guess, sensitive and will just block because, well, let's just block, right? Um, since we're kind of on this thing with about Elon, okay, let's pick up with everybody's favorite journalist, right? Taylor Lorenz. So Taylor Lorenz, I guess, has a YouTube channel now, and she's put up this little short here. So let's have a listen to what Miss Lorenz has to say about Elon, Twitter, and it says what happened to free speech. So let's listen to what she has to say about free speech, because everybody knows she's a pillar of free speech.
So crazy. Elon Musk just started straight up banning the Twitter accounts of any journalists that have been critical of him. Journalists that he's banned so far include Donnie O'Sullivan from CNN, my colleague Drew Harwell, Ryan Mack from the New York Times, and a bunch of other people. These suspensions came completely without warning, and it's not even clear that they violated any real terms. Musk claims that reporters like Drew Harwell from the Washington Post doxed him, but look at Drew's tweet. Nothing about this is doxing. And now let's look at Donnie O'Sullivan's last tweet. Once again, nothing about this is doxing. He literally just posts a statement from the LAPD about Elon. Musk said, criticizing me all day long is totally fine, but doxing my real-time location and endangering my family is not. Once again, none of these journalists doxed his real-time location or put his family in danger. And tonight, Elon Musk joined a Twitter space talking about these suspensions with Drew Harwell and myself and some of the other people that have been suspended, and he couldn't give a single good answer for why he suspended these accounts. And now he's just running polls to see whether these journalists should ever be allowed back.
Okay. To answer your question, Mr. Gamers, no, there's just a few little stories, quick stories that we're going to go through real quick, and then I'll get into the meat and potatoes of what the stream is about this morning, okay? So just bear with me, please. We just got some little quick little things that have occurred that I think are something that you guys ought to keep, be aware of and could possibly develop into some of the future things. So the problem with Taylor's take on this is that people have just been banned off of Twitter. Their accounts have been locked, you name it, just randomly out of the blue forever, right? And it always seemed like it was more towards the more conservative-minded people, users of Twitter. And journalists, people like Taylor Lorenz and stuff, they said, well, just go start your own platform. Whatever. This is their platform. I would remind them the very words that they kept telling these people who were complaining about, quote, censorship or freedom of speech, back when this was ran and owned by Jack Dorsey and subsequently the CEOs and things like that was running the company after Jack stepped down. They basically kept telling them, well, you go find your own place, go find your own whatever. This is their platform; they can run it however they want. Well, Mr. Elon Musk has bought this platform. He can run it however he wants. I have not sorted through all the Twitter files. I think they've had like 6 different data dumps now at this point. But some of the data dumps that are coming out during that time frame, there were some things that occurred I felt was very alarming. Then I think there were some things that people were just over sensationalizing. So, freedom of speech is you're not guaranteed. Okay, here's the thing. With social media platforms such as like this one we're on right now, which is YouTube, we're all watching, right? I do not have a complete and total freedom of speech on this. There are topics that I cannot discuss. There are words that I cannot say, nor would I want to say them, but that goes without saying, that you're not allowed to say, because this is not something that I am paying for and hosting, right? So if you want to have complete and total anonymity, as far as you don't have to answer to nobody and you want to be able to say whatever you want to say, complete and totally unfettered, then you're going to have to develop your own platform. It means you have to develop your own website. You're going to pay for hosting. You're going to have to pay for bandwidth to allow people to come in and watch your streams or your videos, whatever, right? But as long as you're using somebody else's sandbox, then you have to play by their rules. It doesn't matter whether or not if you agree with them, it doesn't matter if you think that they're unreasonable. It doesn't matter if you think that they're being hypocritical at times, right? It doesn't matter. It's their sandbox. They can adjust and apply the rules as they see fit. Now, is it unfair at times? 100%. Is it unjust at times? 100%. Is it biased at times? 100%. But that's the way it is, and so, either you try to play by the rules or you go somewhere else and start your own stuff. It's just that simple. Okay. How many of you guys know, who, Internet Unwind is? Internet Unwind is a guy that I came across, I'm going to say probably 18 months, 2 years ago, something like that. Anyway, he's a very entertaining dude. He's funny. He is truly a comedian. He really, really is. Anyway, he streams over on the Twitch. And he's just funny. If you guys are not checking him out, this is his Twitter. It's at Internet Unwind. His name is Jake. He the Jaker. They calls him the Jaker. Of course, his profile picture is an adaptation of the Joker. But anyway, so last night on his stream, he was streaming and he was watching a little documentary of back in the day where you had Bam Margera and that crew, because there was basically two crews, right? You had Jackass, right, and then you had Bam Margera and his crew, right, with Ryan Dunn and Uncle Phil and his mom and dad and guys like that, right? But this is a little documentary on Ryan Dunn, and as I'm sure a lot of you guys are aware, Ryan Dunn has not been making some really good life choices in recent years, and because of that, he was not allowed to be in this last Jackass movie and stuff. But anyway, this is a little documentary. Yes, Viva La Bam. I used to watch it. I found it funny. I found it amusing. And Jackass as well. It's just one of those shows where you could just sit down for 30 minutes or whatever, and you didn't have to really engage your brain. You just sat, you watched, you laughed at these people doing idiotic things that you knew was going to wind up with somebody getting hurt, right? So anyway, let's watch this little clip from Jake's stream last night.
Ryan Dunn would always be the one to step up to the plate.
I'm Ryan Dunn, and this is poo diving. Oh, dude.
All right,
One of the worst things they ever did.
Who's gonna do this crazy
For
thing?
sure.
I'll
Bar
do it.
none. That's
In
just...
comedy, there's no room for vanity. You gotta show a little skin if you want to make it.
We would just drive around in the.
I'm anxious now that one of these clips could get me in trouble with Twitch. Maybe watch a little bit more.
Car, what can we?
Next clip of somebody that's naked from a side profile, we're gonna stop and I'm gonna play Fortnite or something like that, because I don't want to risk a ban over something this dumb.
Jump off of? Who can we with?
Dude, there's no girl.
And then immediately goes to a bathroom sink and shows a butt. Poor Jake. You had to know, though, dude. Seriously, right? You had to know, right? I'm not the only one here, right?
Well,
if you're
Vaughn
watching,
is getting nuked.
yes, you're getting nuked.
The VOD is getting nuked.
I
think they were.
Oh gosh, I love Jake. He's just so funny. But if you're watching a documentary on Viva La Bam or Jackass or any of those things, right? You got to have to understand and realize, right? There's going to be some nudity. Those guys were just infamous for, running around with their penises out or, exposing their butts. That's just something you cannot watch clips of. You just can't do it. I mean, but anyway, I think he handled it fairly well. He laughed about it and stuff, and his channel didn't get nuked. And so anyway, I think that's a good deal. So this next little thing, yeah, Wild Boys was like 70%, if not higher, max, right? Nudity, right? So anyway, this next little thing is kind of funny. This was a tweet that was sent to me from one of my viewers out there, Chanry. So Chanry sends this to me. I think I'm saying that right, and if I'm not, I apologize. But anyway, said I should ask your viewers how they hold their cups or their coffee during stream. And she goes, "This is evil." All right, so let's take a little look at this picture here. Let's blow this picture up here. Okay. So, guys, let's talk about how we hold our coffee cups. So, in the chat, so what you can say is you can say like good 1, 2, 3, neutral 1, 2, 3, evil 1, 2, 3, right? So like G 1, 2, 3, N 1, 2, 3, or like E 1, 2, 3, right? We'll just make it real simple. So in the chat, let's put in there, how do you hold your coffee cups, right? When you're drinking your coffee of a morning, which is the way, right? So since they don't really have, and since this morning, I'm going to probably myself, I'm going to have to either go with an N2 or an N3 just because, like I said, this mug really doesn't have the room for me to put like I like to hold it. So it's like either that has 1, right? But I'm going to go with the 2, right? Because that's close. Or a 3, which is like this because, like I said, the mug's a little bit evil 3. Bob Wander says evil. Just stick your hand right down inside of the hot coffee, right? Hey, and fair enough, maybe because your hands are cold or whatever, right? Warm that stuff right up. D-Max has committed the ultimate sin. He doesn't even drink coffee. Who are you? I think I may have to take the wrench away from you because you don't even drink. Come on, tea. Do you at least drink hot tea? Is there possibly is there some redemption that we can get Max here? Come on, Max. At least tell me you drink hot tea. If you get hot tea, I'll give you a semi pass, man. But if you don't even drink hot tea, I don't know, man. E1 is how you hold most cups. Well, okay, all right. Listen, so the evil 1, right? Like this here, I do that if I'm handing it to somebody, like my wife. If I've filled her, if I give her a cup of coffee, I've got and I'm refilled, I'll hand it to her like this, right? So I'll put the handle out where they can grab a hold of it, right? You drink Coke. You're one of those people that drink Coke of a morning. Max, I can see that I'm going to have to enroll you in a very intensive one-on-one sessions with PeePaw. We're going to have to deprogram your brain. And I say this with love. You cannot be a Coke person in the morning. That carbonation, we just, they would drink their coffee with Coke in it. Seriously? What? Okay. All right. We're going to have to set some ground rules, y'all. Listen. There are 2 acceptable ways, 3, I guess, acceptable ways of drinking coffee. You can drink it straight with no additives, and that's okay. You can drink it and put a little sweetener, whatever it is that you prefer. If it's just plain old plain old refined sugar, or if you like to use some sort of sugar substitute, which is what I do. I put a little Splenda in my coffee. Or you can even do it like the Mighty Mrs. Riv, and she puts a little bit of creamer in hers. Okay. But she only puts a little, here's the thing about my wife is this. Okay. So she only puts a little creamer in her coffee on the weekends. Monday through Friday, it's straight black coffee. No type of creamer, no type of sweetener, nothing. All she wants is just plain, just coffee right out of the pot, right? I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense to me, but whatever. I do know, and I guess I would kind of put this underneath like the creamer thing. I know some people that will take like, the Hershey's syrup, like you can get like that you put in the milk or whatever, right? You know what I'm talking about? I know some people that actually put that in their coffee and make it like a mocha coffee, right? They don't put no other whipped cream or any of the cream or like that. They just put the plain old Hershey's syrup into the coffee because they say there are some mornings that there's just not enough caffeine in the coffee, so they put the chocolate in there, which has caffeine in it as well, and it kind of gives them that extra little kick to get it up to the next level. So I guess I would be okay with that, even maybe. I don't know. Yeah. So here, let's see here. They call it a choke. Yeah. D-Max says, I do envy coffee drinkers. Worst thing is when I was a film production assistant and I'd have to take fancy coffee orders and never get it right. Right. So some of that pretentious coffee from like what? From like Starbucks. I want a double latte, soy, skinny, half the foam type, that kind of stuff. I guess you can just drop a Hershey Kiss in the bottom of your mug. Sure. Put a little kiss in your coffee. I could even see that 100%. Yeah. Yeah. Purple Paw Prince is on something there. Yeah. 100%. But anyway, thank you for the diagram here. I appreciate that, Chanry, and so hopefully you kind of got to know where you're at. This is kind of a take on D&D character, right? Your alignment in D&D, right? I think I got that right. I think I was able to pull that out of my lexicon of weird nerd knowledge that I have. So we have some sad news here, guys, in this next one. So it looks like Sabo Pancakes reapplied for YouTube partnership program, and they denied him. I don't know how long he has to wait now. I don't know if it'll be sometime maybe in January or whatever. Because I don't know what the window of time is between how often they'll let you apply. I'm not real happy about this. I hope Sabo is able to get remonetized. I hope, because I know there's quite a bit of money that is tied up out there in the nether from donations and stuff from his Fireball events that should be given to a buddy of mine, Matt Pitt. The people that won those events donated it to Matt, and I know Matt could use the money, and so I do hope that Savo does get remonetized and that money does eventually get released and to where he can pay off the winners and stuff. So anyway, how many more stories I got before we get into the real one here? Oh, we got to speed up stuff, guys. We got to speed up stuff. We'll be here at noon. So anyway, there's this notion right now, seems like, out there that there's no news to talk about if you're in the quote commentary community or drama community or whatever. There's not any, and I disagree. I think there's a lot of stuff out there. I think that there's this notion that unless it's like some of the like really big major players or whatever, that it's not something that can be talked about, or it's not worth the time, or it's considered quote spurgy drama, whatever. And I disagree. I think that anything and everything can be talked about. I think that depending upon how much is I think about the how much you talk about it, I think relates to how much there is there to talk about. Does that make sense? I mean, I don't think you take something that is an anthill and make it into Mount Everest, but I think that there are some things that can be laughed about and talked about. And maybe it's just maybe 5 or 10 minutes passing. And like I say, it's kind of like little short stories like what we've been doing this morning. We just kind of go through them. We say, okay, this is kind of what's, it's funny. We can laugh at this and move on. It's not going to be like this major stuff that we're fixing to get into here, probably about another 10, 15 minutes, to where it is some serious things. We can laugh, we can have some fun. I think that's what we have to focus on. We need to really focus more on these type of things that are just harmless, fun things. And honestly, truthfully, hope that the other stuff never happens. Because I don't like talking about that stuff, because it's serious stuff that impacts people's lives in a negative manner. And here's a shocker. People don't like people having bad things happen to them in their lives. I like to criticize people. I like to have fun and crack some jokes at people's expenses, and vice versa. I love it when people crack jokes at my expense and laugh at me, because hell, there's lots of things to laugh at me about. There's lots of things we can crack jokes about me. And I like it when people do that. I like to go back in the interaction, right? To me, that's just the akin of, when you've got buddies and friends, whatever, and you bust each other's balls a little bit. That's what that is to me. I like that. You can't take it personal. You can't get it too serious or whatever, right? So my buddy Matt Pitt, always constantly trying to find the next story, always constantly trying to, and sometimes if there's not anything going on, those boys over at the Now Recording podcast, and I'm going to say specifically Matt Pitt, usually he's probably about 98% of the root of all this stuff, because he's just a go-getter, right? He just man, my nose is itching, somebody's talking about me. He's the go-getter. So anyway, so he puts out a tweet that says, ladies from the SNT, looking to get 2 of y'all to debate 2 goth mommies on Now Recording. I think I have the goth mommies set up with either Saggy Melons, Maggot Edits, or Rump Dump. So let me know if you're interested, right? So there were some questions, but this is Saggy Melon says, not sure what the debate is, but also what the F, WTF is a SNT lady. And Matt Pitt explains that that's a Sabo's news team. Kristen Ark says, hey, I need this. Cassandra explains, says, such good content, right? This is just harmless little thing. Have a little friendly banter, whatever, right? And if you guys don't know, right, when PeePaw don't like when bad things happen to people was just laughing at Jackass. Okay, let me clarify there, Max. Let me break it down to smaller little bites for you. People intentionally doing things like on Jackass or Viva La Bam, things like that, intentionally, which is going to cause physical pain to them. That's fine. That's laughable. That's along the lines of all the great slapstick comedians like the Three Stooges, Carol Burnett, Dick Van Dyke. The list goes on and on of great comedians and stuff through time that did slapstick, that did physical comedy, right? That would result in some injuries sometimes to themselves, but they did it for the laughs. That's what I'm okay with. What I'm not okay with is like this story here we're going to be talking about a little bit later on. We're talking about, SA and things like that, sexual assault stuff. And I don't like that type of stuff. That is a physical and emotional pain that is inflicted on other people that I wish never happened. Okay. So let me just break it up there for a little bit, right? All right. So anyway, so Matt Pitt puts out this tweet, right? And he's sitting there saying, he's got a couple of the quote goth mommies to do this, and he's looking for some of the SNT news teams and stuff. Well, so anyway, there's some conversation occurs. Tipster gets involved, and now you can see here that the tweets were deleted and stuff, right? But there was some stuff, but some things, like Tipster says there are no goth mommies. Well, Tipster, you've talked about the goth mommies probably for the last 6+ months. Jokingly or not, you put a label on it and it's a thing. There may not necessarily really truly be this team of goth mommies that are, your ride or die people. That's irrespective. You've got some friends out there. You've got some supporters or whatever, fans that are female and you've made this joke about how you love goth mommies and stuff. And so it just kind of stuck, right? So it's funny. It's a joke. It's a ha ha ha, right? And anyway, so I don't know what all was said here, but Matt Pitt just says Tipster's trying to ignore the last 6 months. And then he quote tweets another thing that was from Tipster, says, "This is slander. Two factions are at war. I simply want to get the two together, speak to each other." Yeah, exactly. So, he's just trying to make some content, and that's all that is. And so, anyway, so whatever, like I say, Tipster, for whatever reason, deleted the tweets. I don't know what was said. I'm sure it was something that was funny or whatever, but anyway, he deleted the tweets. Maggot Edits, which is one of the quote goth mommies, just said, "I want to be clear, this goth mommies versus SNT ladies was entirely Matt's idea. Tipster had no say or input on the matter, and Matt was the one who reached out to us to ask us to be a part of it. So for anyone saying Tipster wanted to do this, he didn't. They really didn't involve him." Okay, fine. They didn't involve him. It doesn't mean that it's not a funny little bit. It doesn't mean that it's not something we could have some fun with, that we could laugh about it. We could have some fun with it. You know what I'm saying? And so that brings us to Clara. Now, Clara is one of the, if you look here at their profile, says that they are a S&T MVP. She says, hang on, let's see if I can get this here. So she says, "Girl, damn well this is a beef that's been going on for a while and wasn't really started by just so tipsy. It was started because of Sabo assaulting his wife." This is Maggot saying this, "But of course he doesn't like y'all. You really shocked, LMAO." And it says, Claire says, "I didn't say shit about Bob's wife until he decided to group S&T together as one. If we're going to be grouped together, so are him and his goth mommies." Maggot says, "I didn't say you didn't say. Savo did, but you have joked about his wife, Clara." Claire says, "You said, of course, he doesn't like y'all because of Savo's joke. And yeah, I did joke about her yesterday for the first time because I'm sick of him blocking me for no damn reason. So I'm going to give him 1 or 10. And then Claire says, "Are you going to go on the now recording? It would be fun." And then she says, "I don't know." So it sounds like to me that, as long as these ladies cannot get too heated or allowed to become too personal, whatever, I think it could be fun to go in there and have a little fun, right? You have some ladies kind of from Savo's, defending him, whatever, and then some ladies defending Tipster. I think it's kind of, it's kind of the reverse, where you always have guys coming in to defend, their ladies, right? So why not let the girls get in there and kind of defend their guy, whatever? But I think it'd be funny. I think it'd be some good, clean, fun entertainment. But who knows? We'll see what happens. So, anyway, let's see. D-Max, I see where he's coming from. Zoomer goths aren't goths. Well, possibly. I don't know. Liana. Good morning, Liana. She goes, "I was kicked out of the Goth Mommy Discord." Well, that's too bad. And by the way, if you haven't joined the Clear as Mud podcast Discord, that's my main Discord where I use for all this type of stuff. Make sure you join it. There will be a link pop up here, I'm sure, here in a little bit from the Stream Element bot. If you're not a member of that, join in. We have conversations, we laugh, we cut up, we have fun over there. Like when we do our podcast, if you guys on Sundays I do with banana stuff, if you guys want to call in, sometimes I open up the phones here, or the Discord phones, whatever. We can have some conversations here too. So make sure you have joined the Discord if you haven't. So moving along, Xylee. How many of you guys know who Xylee is? Xylee Gets Real, right? I like Xylee. Xylee is good people. I really like her. I promote her. I don't always get to watch her channels or her streams live because she does the late night shift and this old man has to hit the hay. But I always watch her streams the next morning while I'm working, whatever. I'll have it up here on one of my screens because I got 3 screens from me. I'll have it up somewhere and I'll either be listening through my speaker or I'll have my earbud in and whatever. And I'll be listening to it and stuff because she always covers some really interesting stuff. She always has interesting people that call into her stream and stuff. And let's just be quite honest, her stream there for a while on the late shift was some of the source for a lot of interesting things that occurred recently over the last few months with Salvo, with Keemstar, with Nick DiOrio, with Edwin Generations or Homeboy Edwin. It has, a lot of interesting things and stuff broke loose on her stream. So if you're not following Xylee, do so. Make sure you're following, make sure you're subbed to her channel. But Xylee, and I have to apologize because I told her the other evening that I was going to hype this up on the show the next morning. And I didn't. So I have to apologize for that. So I'm going to be a man of my word and make good of it here now. Okay. Xylee has started a all woman, female podcast. And it's going to be called The Broadcast, right? BROAD as in abroad, right? Another, term for a woman, sometimes derogatory, I guess, or whatever, or could be a misogynistic term. But in this case, they're going to take ownership of it and it's going to be called The Broadcast. And this is going to be Xylee Gets Real. Okay. This is going to be Eva and it's going to be Mystic. This podcast, in my opinion, right, for whatever that's worth, I think it's going to bang. And here's why it's going to bang. Mystic is a very entertaining streamer, okay? Eva is a very entertaining streamer, and she is extremely knowledgeable about all the lore and all the backstories and everything that comes with drama and all that type of stuff. Now, I don't know what all that they're going to be talking about over there. Okay. I don't know all the ins and outs of that. And then you've got Xylee, right? And Xylee is highly entertaining. She is very outspoken, as is Mystic, as is Eva. And I think this dynamic of these 3 lovely, beautiful young ladies is going to be something to behold. So if you're not following Eva, and this is her at here, right? Make sure you're following Eva. Make sure you're following Mystic, right? And make sure you're following Xylee Gets Real. This here is their new podcast. I don't know when they'll have their first, what do you call it? Show, episode, whatever. But what I'm going to do right now is in the chat here, I'm going to put a link to that show. So make sure you guys get subbed to this channel. I'm telling you, this is going to be entertaining. So make sure you check it out. So in further Xylee news, right, because Xylee doesn't have enough going on, Xylee says, hey, she goes, I'm thinking about either doing a content shift on my main channel or doing totally different content on her second channel, like a reality TV updates and stuff like that. She goes, I just don't know. She's still working out the logistics. So if you haven't, this is Xylee's second channel, right? This is Reality with Xylee, right? And she's got 383 subs on this one already, right? So let me put a link in that one in the chat as well. There you go. So make sure you get sub to Xylee over here as well, right? So we can support Xylee, because like I said, I really like Xylee. And I don't, like I say, if she so if reality, if you like watching those reality type shows, like, I don't know what all's out there. I don't watch reality shows much anymore. I used to watch them, but I know there's like the Real Housewives of different, cities or whatever. I think that's still a thing that they do. There's what else is a reality? The I don't know, the Bachelor, and then the Bachelorette, and anyway, I don't know what all. But if that's your thing, and whatever, and you like that type of stuff, make sure you're following Xylee, because she's very entertaining, and like I said, I really like her. So last night, Salvo, I supposedly eats a strawberry for the first time, and I found this a little bit amusing. I'm going to say he may have had a strawberry before, and he may just kind of been hamming it up a little bit. But anyway, watching him eat this strawberry is kind of funny. So let's catch this right quick. So evidently Sabo likes fruit now. So good for Sabo. Maybe he'll get a little bit more balanced diet during his life. To me, I love a good strawberry, as long as it's ripe, not too ripe, but it's not, not underripe where it's bitter or whatever, right? Okay. So we're fixing to get into the serious stuff. And I just want to give you guys a warning. This is going to be going over a sensitive subject. This is going to go over stuff that, so if that type of stuff is something that you don't want to hear about, or you don't want to discuss it or whatever, I 100% understand that. And so if you need to exit out, there's no hard feelings. I've enjoyed my time with you this morning, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the podcast, hopefully Sunday, and we'll start back up Monday with Coffee with PeePaw. Now, while I'm discussing this, I want to tell you that kind of a schedule here, right? So that we're all on board here and we all kind of understand where things are going to go this next week, because next week is Christmas week, right? And so my plans currently is that I will stream Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at my regular time, 7:30 Eastern to about 8:30 Eastern, right? And we'll have our normal show. That'll be Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, all right? Then Thursday forward till probably after the first of the year, I will not be able to stream. I'm going to be transferring over stuff into the new PC. As you guys know, we built the new PC, right? So I'm going to be transferring stuff over to that. And two, I'm holidays, right? So I've got, things with the family and all that kind of stuff. Looks like we're probably going to have to do some traveling as well. So unfortunately, I probably won't be able to stream again until probably after the first of the year, right? So anyway, just make note of that and don't get upset. I'm sorry. It's just the way it is. But, this is some time maybe you guys can spend with your family and your loved ones and friends and stuff. And then, like I said, we'll start it back up right first of the year. But like I said, I just kind of want to let you guys know what's going on there. So anyway, so let's get into it and let's just get after it here. Okay. So just we got a real quick update on the I guess her name is Nadia. We covered this last night on Dave's stream. She got some donations, low dollar, like $1 donations or whatever. She had some turmoil I guess around her about hacking and stuff on Call of Duty. I think it is, a Warzone or whatever it was. She was accused of cheating and stuff. And so she had people in there that was sending her, donos and stuff, in and around alleging cheating and calling her a cheater and so on and so forth. And so she lost her cool and she doxed, one of her donators. Okay. Some people said this wasn't doxing or whatever. She said the person's full name and she said it in a malicious tone and with malicious intent. And so to me, that is the very definition of a doxing. Twitch handed out I think it was a 7-day ban or 14-day ban. I'm not for sure what it was. One of those two though. And then within 6 hours, she was unbanned again. I don't really understand the logic behind that one. I think Twitch definitely screwed the pooch, because now the message that Twitch has sent out is, if somebody donates to you and you don't like the donation message or whatever, it is perfectly okay to give out that person's name, which then in turn would allow people to go out and look online and find that person, or possibly even the wrong person, and start harassing them. Okay. That is the takeaway from this. Twitch is okay with you saying people's names and doxing them. That's the takeaway on this, that they're okay with it. Even though their terms of service says you can't do it, they're okay with it and they're fine with it. So this is a video that she put out yesterday at the beginning of her stream. This is a clip of it. So let's just listen to what she had to say.
In today's video, I want to address something that happened to me this morning. I woke up this morning and I got a knock from my roommate, Dante, telling me that I was banned on Twitch. I was very confused. I really didn't understand what happened. I mean, I just woke up and, to be honest, I thought he was like pranking me for a second, and looked at my phone with a bunch of messages saying that I was banned. I was terrified. Like, I can't imagine what I do in 2 weeks of not streaming. I love streaming. I don't even like to take days off because how much I love it. I look forward to this every day. So when I saw that, I genuinely was scared, and it was probably one of the most terrifying moments of my life. But I got banned on Twitch for 14 days. And here's the reason. I got banned for sharing personal information about somebody. So I kept getting a donation that popped up on my stream labels, and it was a person that was sending me hate, and the name was anonymous, and they did it 4 times. I was confused because, one, I'm just like, okay, the first time, I do get hate on donations sometimes because, they think it's funny to just have it pop up on the screen. And I usually do get that. This is not new, but I haven't had somebody do it 4 times in a row. When I saw that, I was honestly really irritated. And in a moment of weakness, I said, when you get a donation on your phone, the name of the person pops up. So I said the person's first and last name. And I just want to point out that all I did was say his first and last name. I know that there's rumors going around that I leaked the address of the person, but I didn't. I only said their first and last name. But looking back at it and having the time to reflect, I realized that wasn't the best way to combat the hate. And I should have played into it how I normally play into like hate comments and stuff, how I troll them back. But I didn't. And like I said, in a moment of weakness, I kind of just said what was on my mind. And I realize now that I shouldn't have done that. This year has been one of the craziest years of my life. And there's a lot of stuff that happened to me. With streaming, I blew up. My life has changed completely. And with that came a lot of good things, but then also, the hate that came along with it. And I mean, like, if you go look at my TikTok comments right now, they're mostly hate. And I do play into it. I'm not trying to play the victim card. What I'm saying is I'm still trying to learn from it. I made a mistake and I do apologize to Twitch, and I appreciate them for unbanning me, by the way. Thank you very much. And I want to continue this. And I know in continuing this, I'm going to continue getting more hate. So
she apologizes to Twitch, but she doesn't apologize to the guy that she put his name out there. That's the takeaway there too, right? And D-Max brings up a real valid solution to this, right? If you've got people out there that starts making donations and stuff to you, right, that are trolly and it's just too much to you, or it's you consider it hate or whatever, you can just mute the donations. It's real quick. I don't know what platform she's using for donations. I don't know if it was through Streamlabs or Stream Elements, whatever, but both of those I know for a fact have a real click. You click it, it pauses the donations, right? So that means that people could still donate, they can still give money, but the alerts are just not going to come up on the screen. It's not going to be displayed there for everyone to see, right? So it kind of de-incentivizes them to continue doing the stuff that they're doing, right? Twitch also just implemented what they call shield mode, right? So mods can quickly enact that, and when that goes into effect, it takes it strictly to, like, I think members only, and definitely takes it to emoji only chat, right? So no more typing in words, no more phrases, no more nothing. It's strictly emojis. That's all you can do. It's like a panic button, right? That's what it is. It's a panic button for them. So I don't know. I mean, sometimes I think some of these people that go into doing streaming and stuff, I don't think they go in with their eyes wide open, right? When you do this kind of stuff, it's inevitable that you're going to say something or do something that is going to upset someone. And then that person is going to come at you. They're going to make videos. They're going to do this. They're going to do that or whatever, right? And I just think some of these people are not prepared to handle that kind of criticism, or that type of hate. It could be just pure hate and no legitimate criticism. That is possible. But in either scenario, whatever, you've just got to develop the tools. So I don't know anything about this young lady. I hope she does truly learn from this. But flat out revealing the names of your donators like that, or even putting that thread out there, I would say possibly it could have some rippling effects, because now donators are going to start saying, yeah, these guys have my real name now. I may not be as likely to donate anymore. And I think there could be some downslide on donations. I don't know. Again, cause and effect, right? There's always something there that could happen. All right, so let's get into it. Here we go. So yesterday, Dextro put out this tweet and about OTK. So, and in this thing they posted, they had a tweet here from Rich Campbell saying, "I've read the statements made against me today. I will share my side of the story, but need some time to collect my thoughts. OTK has requested that I resign from my position. I've agreed. I will make an update soon." Okay. And then in this other one, they have a snippet of the twit longer. All right. So I've got the twit longer, and we're going to dive into that. Now, this is OTK. These are the founders of OTK. We got Asmongold, we got Miskiff, we got Esfand. I don't know how you say that. Anyway, here's Rich Campbell. We've got Tips Out, Impolo, and then we have who was it? There was another one here that has been removed, but so just a few months ago. When I say just a few months ago, I'm talking about September of this year. There was a big story that broke, and it all broke around Miskiff covering up, and his girlfriend at the time, I think her name was Maya, covering up a situation that happened at a party where a young lady said that she was sexually assaulted by a guy by the name of Slickers, or I think it's Slickers, something like. It's kind of, but I don't. There was two different entities that had the name Slicker in their name. One of them was the one that kind of broke it because they were going after him because of gambling, and then there was the guy that actually allegedly created this or committed the unwanted sexual advances and stuff towards the young lady. It was a whole big deal. There was several other entities within OTK. Like I said, Miskiff, and he's still listed here on the founders page of this thing, right? And that was back in September. So we're just talking just 3 or 4 months ago. We're not talking very long that this happened. So we had two entities and and then another one that was one of their streamers that they had allied with them, that was making fun of the situation. She eventually was asked to leave because she had some psychological issues. Okay, so this guy right here, Rich Campbell, is who we're going to be talking about today. Okay, so there's a streamer by the name of Azalea Lexi, I think is how you say it. I'm going to do my best to read this twit longer. But with my dyslexia, I'm going to get things wrong. I'm probably going to say things wrong. So y'all have a little compassion for the old man. All right, so here we go. She goes, if you want the whole account, here it is. She says, Rich and I had a very up and down / on and off relationship, or off, down / on and off friendship and relationship for 4 years that started towards the end of his career on the Call of Duty desk. Our physical relationship started in Columbus, Ohio in 2019, and it was a disaster from there. Without going into extensive detail, because that's what would be required to explain it, there would be several times during the 4 years that he made it clear that he only viewed me as a sexual object. But when I would confront him about it, I would get love bombed and gaslit into thinking that he cared about me and wanted to be with me. This would happen during the single periods of my life, as anytime I would be in a relationship, he would text or call me, and I would tell him I was seeing somebody else. After he lied to me about having a girlfriend for an extended amount of time in June of 2021, I didn't speak to him or see him until he called me asking to apologize around the end of July, beginning of August. I'd always had a deep love for Rich as a person and friend. As the beginning of our friendship, he was there for me like not a lot of people are. So I gave him another chance to be friends. He told me he would prove to me that he was working on being a better person and that he wanted to be in my life. Then in October, he began his typical antics and begged me to come to Texas around she has Sunbathon. I think that's supposed to be subathon. I said no because I did not think it was appropriate to stay with him, because I did not want to sleep with him and I did not trust him. He also came to LA in December of 2021 and asked to see me, but I mainly was only asking me to come to his hotel. I said no due to the fact that I was not interested in having sex with him. There was not much communication till I was at a French restaurant AOC in the Upper East Side on January 30th this year with 2 girlfriends. As the night came to an end, around 12 a.m., I Ubered to Rich's apartment in Williamsburg because he asked to see me. We were in the movie theater in his building and talking, and he repeatedly kept attempting to get me to lay on him. I repeatedly said, I'm not here to sleep with you, and I do not want that. At one point in the theater, he said, I think tonight is the last time I'm ever going to see you. After trying to speak to him for an hour about our relationship and the awful way he treated me, he just continued to deflect and said that there's no reason to talk about it because it just makes him feel bad. He said that he couldn't stay in the room and needed to go up to his apartment per the apartment rules. I said I didn't trust that, and he promised me that this was the situation, that nothing would happen, and he was respecting the boundary, I said. So we go upstairs, and he starts talking about how hot I would be pregnant. He then proceeded to jerk off in front of me while continuing to talk about how he thinks about getting me pregnant constantly. He kept begging me to have sex with him. I said no. He continually attempted to take my clothes off. I kept saying no. I'm going to pause for a second. I'm going to take a drink of coffee, and I'm going to pose a question to the ladies, because I don't understand this. All right, I truly don't understand this. When she says in here that he started to masturbate in front of her, right, and talks about how he envisions her being pregnant. Ladies, why did she not leave the room? Now, understand something. I am not in any way saying that she deserved anything that happened to her. If it happened to her, because at this point, this is all allegedly occurred. This is her side of what happened. He has not said anything, to my knowledge, to the contrary, to put out his side. And the problem with stories like this is simply this. She has made these allegations. Okay. There is, time has passed. She did not go to law enforcement when this happened. So there is no, if she'd went to law enforcement the night that this happened, they would have done, medical examinations. There would have been, substance, they had taken evidence, they would have done what they call a rape kit, and they would have taken samples, DNA purposes and so forth. And there would have been tangible proof that could be used in a court of law to back up what she is saying. Okay. But all we have is this twit longer, right? And I'm not saying that the guy didn't do what he did, and I'm not saying that this young lady's not telling the truth. But my question is, ladies, and I guess this could go for guys too, if you're in a situation, or if you're in and someone starts doing this and you have no intentions of having any type of intimacy, physical contact with them, and they're obviously making it very, it's just plain clear by their actions that this is something that they're trying to initiate, that they're wanting to do, and you're not, why do you not just leave? Why not leave? So I'm sitting here. Drew Zero says I would have walked out of the room. Would have been impolite like Louis C.K. shenanigans. Yeah. I like, again, guys, I'm not trying to put any of the blame on her. I am not saying that this guy did this, but in this scenario that is being laid out in this twit longer, I don't understand why. I don't understand, right? And here's the thing. If this was an 18-year-old, a 20-something-year-old girl that maybe could be not as worldly, right? As far as had enough life experience. When I say worldly, I mean have enough life experiences to read the signs or whatever. But she says later on here that she's 30 years old. I would hope that a 30-year-old person would be better able to read a room, to read a situation, and not compound it, right? Now, that's not saying that a woman should not be allowed or should not feel safe or comfortable in a room with somebody else without having to be in any way put upon. I'm not saying that. But if you go see a dude who has a history of you having a history with him, the physical history, and you're talking to them in a more public place and they're constantly trying to get you to become more physically in contact with them, i.e. lay down on top of them, why remove yourself from a public place into a isolated place? I that doesn't register me. That just Ember Lily says it doesn't always feel like it's a safe thing to try to leave or walk away. I get that because the guy could physically restrain you, right? I get that. It could become even more violent, right? And then what I get that, but anyway, I don't understand all this. I really don't. I feel sorry for her. If this truly did happen to her, okay, if this guy truly did do these things, I feel horrible for her, right? I do. I 100% feel horrible for her. If this guy did these things, then he 100% needs to face any and all repercussions legally, socially, career-wise, all that entails. 100% needs to face the ramifications of that. Let me make that perfectly clear, right? But again, like I say, I want to remind everybody, all we have currently that I'm aware of is a statement via TwitLonger about these allegations. Okay, I just want to say that, right? So, okay. He continually attempted to take my clothes off. I kept saying no. At the end, and I mean the very end, he rolled me over, put himself inside me, and finished unprotected. Afterwards, I called my friend who was staying with him so I could come back, and she wasn't answering because it was late at night and she was already asleep. Rich said I couldn't stay there. So I called hotels around New York looking for a cheap room. I asked for the nearest subway, and it was a 20-minute walk. Without saying anything to him, I left and cried in his lobby as he texted me, you okay? I never replied. I left. I went to a sketchy hotel in Chinatown and processed it by myself. I left New York the next day and never spoke to Rich again. I'm a 30-year-old woman in a relationship with someone currently. I have had several relationships with people that just simply did not work out, and I still respect those people and would never make a false claim based on a relationship ending. I get nothing out of lying about this. In fact, it's almost expected to receive ridicule when speaking about a sexual assault. You can believe me or not, I generally don't owe anyone anything, and I'm not here to beg people to believe me. All right. So that's the TwitLonger. All right. So again, we don't have anything really. And then this morning, well, I'll say this morning, last night rather, but this was shared with me this morning. We had this tweet come out. This is from Heidi. Now, I tried to look into a little bit this morning, research to find out who Heidi is. Okay. From my understanding, from what I've looked, she has an OnlyFans. That doesn't, but I have not been able to find like any other type of social platforming other than here on Twitter. And what I mean by that is I don't know if she streams. I don't know if she has a YouTube channel. So when I say social platform, that's what I mean. And and the only thing I found was she had a link to her OnlyFans. And I'm not saying that, she's OnlyFans. So yeah, no, I'm just saying that's all I was able to, in the amount of time frame window that I had this morning, that was all I was able to locate. She may actually have a streaming channel on Twitch. She may actually have a YouTube channel. Who knows? She may have TikTok. I don't know. TikTok is not something that I frequent. I do have the app. I do look at it. Occasionally I post a video, but it's not something that I, promote or really use extensively. But she put this out. She goes, I don't want to post anything more right now, but Rich Campbell is a scummy piece of shit, and I've experienced it firsthand from April to October of this year. OTK is playing dominoes with people being effing creeps. LOL. All right. There was what was this? There was someone said something here, but they have hidden the whatever. I guess basically they were saying, how would you know, or something like that, whatever, and said, so they replied, someone who's known Rich for 3 years, and you are. Okay. So I don't know if this is something else here that is going to be coming forward about Rich as well. And typically, when something like this happens, it is probably, how do I put this? Usually when someone comes forward, it usually takes one person to come forward. If there's someone that's truly a creep as being alleged and described by these two women now, that Rich is, okay, and then he's done these horrible things, they don't usually do it with just one person. So now we've got a second person. So are there going to be others? Time will tell. I don't know. And again, I want to just reiterate this. I don't want this man's here's the thing. So if I come up and say to make this statement, I don't want this man's career ruined, then it sounds like I'm apologizing for him. I'm not an apologist. All I want is to have as much factual information and evidence. And this is one of these type of stories are ones that I normally tend to try to steer away from. And the reason why I steer away from them is that they always have like either a YouTube video or a twit longer or something like that. They never go to law enforcement. They never have any type of evidence collected at the time. There's very rarely ever is there any type of actual legal ramifications that occur or happen, right? And understand me when I say this. It boils down to he said, she said. So who do you blame? Who do you believe, rather, right? Do you believe the woman that's making the accusation? Do you believe the guy that's saying this didn't happen? Who do you believe? Because you have a he said, she said situation, right? And so, and there are cases where women have falsely accused men. Men have went to prison. They've served extended periods of time in prison for a crime they never committed. And later comes out, they're exonerated through evidence, or the woman will recant her story. Go look it up. There are stories after stories after stories where this has occurred, right? Then there's also stories where women are truly, assaulted. And the guy that does it is allowed to get away with it for years because the women don't feel safe for whatever reason. And it's not my place to judge them for not feeling safe or not feeling, I don't understand it. But there again, guess what? I'm not a woman and I've never been assaulted, right? So I don't have the mindset or the ability in my head to understand why they're doing it. Okay. I'm sympathetic to them. I feel sorry for them. But the thing of it is that one of the things is I hate these men that do these things are allowed to perpetrate and continue to do it to others. Right. And they 100% need to be stopped. Right. So I don't know. I mean, if this truly happened to the woman, I feel sorry for her. I have deepest condolences for her, right? And, we have another woman now that's, saying the same thing. Or she doesn't say anything. She goes, I'm not going to say anything right now other than he's a creep. Okay. So I don't know. I guess we'll see where this goes on, so, but this organization right here, OTK, right, has been plagued with this stuff in recent months, right? Let me see what let's see what some of you guys are saying in the chat here. There's also long-term manipulation at play here. Men like that will make you believe you deserve what's happening. 100%. Amber, Lily, yes, they do that. They control, they manipulate. They're scuzzbags. I hate people. I hate people, both men and women. Let me just make this clear, because women do it as well to guys. Anybody who uses manipulation, who uses extortion, who uses that kind of stuff to control their partner and to manipulate them into doing things that they are not comfortable doing out of guilt and stuff, I have no use for them. They're just anyway. Squirrellock says always believe the victim. Normally I would agree with you about believing the victim. The problem is we have people that have alleged crimes as a victim. They said, this happened to me. And we've had people that have been put away in prison only later on to be exonerated because the quote victim was lying. Right. So rather than believe the victim, I like to believe the evidence. I trust the evidence, and wherever the evidence leads, that's what I believe is the truth. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, D-Max says it can be private. I've met and talked with many women who have had this issue. They never get the kit because they're worried about backlash. It's a shame. Yes, exactly. Unfortunately, there was a long period of history where women who came forward with this type of stuff were shamed. They said, oh, well, they deserved it, or that they had it coming, or whatever. Right. We had a problem in this society of shaming and guilting women. And and so unfortunately, there is still that stigmatism that exists where women are not comfortable, or men comfortable, coming forward to share what's happening to them, right? And that's sad. But we just have to keep trying to move forward and doing the right thing as a society. Squirrellock says we've been conditioned as women to always second guess ourselves. Oh, we were drinking, or he's a nice boy, or this is that. So much time that when rape happens, we don't report because of the second guess. D-Max says women are broken these days, and it crushed my soul to think about. So evidence is lost. Yes, exactly. All these things. Women and men are conditioned, because while it is not a high majority of men that will be sexually assaulted, it does occur, right? And when a guy is sexually assaulted, right? And I'm not trying to say, oh, it's worse for men or worse for, I'm not saying that, but men are afraid to come forward because they are then looked at, oh, well, to demean them, that they're not really a man, or they're this, whatever, so there's a stigmatism for both sexes. It is a stigmatism that should not exist, but it does. And I wished that we didn't have it, but we do. You have to get evidence. I understand all the reason. It sucks to do that, but you have to. I'm sorry. the bottom line is this, is one and first and foremost, I honestly and truthfully, I have been blessed. I have never in my immediate circle that I'm friends with, either online, um, that I've, or I'll just put them back up. Nobody in my circle, IRL, that I know has ever had to go through any of this, right? They've never had that. So I don't have the perspective of even knowing somebody and helping them through this something like this, right? So I am really, in that aspect, I'm disconnected from these stories, right? But all I can say is heaven forbid if any like this ever happens to anybody that ever watches one of my streams or watches this VOD later on or is here presently now. Heaven forbid if anything like this ever happens to you. First and foremost, know that you would have my deepest compassion and sympathy for it. But more importantly, you have to find the courage. You have to find the strength somewhere, be it through a friend, be it from within your own being. You have to find the strength and courage to go forth and go through the process. Let them collect the evidence. The personnel that they have at the hospitals and stuff these days are trained on how to do this in a way that is as least traumatizing as it possibly can be, and will not re-victimize you, right? They have in most situations, especially like in larger cities. I don't know about rural communities as much, but I know in larger cities, they have special training that law enforcement, and they have special police officers that receives this training on how to deal with people, victims of assault in this nature, to help them go through it and through processing it. They have counselors, they have counseling that you can receive to help you again process all this stuff, right? And it's important that you go through that to get the help that you need, mentally and physically. It's important for you to do this because it will help you regain a power that was taken from you, right? And it's important that you do this because then it will help stop this person from ever doing it to anyone else ever again. Okay. That's why it's so important. And I know it's easy for me to sit here and espouse this stuff because I've never been through it. I've never had a loved one go through it. I understand that. But what I'm saying is that if I had someone around me that did have this experience, I would give them the same advice, lovingly and nurturingly as I possibly could, to say, hey, we've got to do this for your own well-being mentally, and for the, to put this animal away, to stop this, to ensure that this never ever happens again. Because that's the thing we have to do, right? And I know that this is a controversial subject, and I know that there's going to be people that are, and I can see that there's some discourse happening right now. Guys, what I'll say is please, please, please keep it respectful. And and you have people that are voicing two different opinions or views and stuff, because everybody has had different levels of experience or have been through this, right? And I understand that, and I get that. And this is another reason why I don't really like covering these things, but I feel like sometimes it is important to cover these things because there has to be, this conversation has to occur. And hopefully it maybe will help someone to understand that it is important, and it's not easy. It is not easy. And it takes a huge amount of courage to go and go through that process. You are truly being courageous to go through that. And if someone around you has this happen to them, and you can help them for them, you are being courageous for them and helping them. It's so don't mistake what I'm saying here. So let's see what else. You know, I have some more stuff here that kind of is on OTK as an organization, as a group, but I don't think, because it kind of got really heavy there, and this kind of stuff is a little bit more lighter and funnier. And I just don't think that it's the time or place for that. I just don't think it's the time or place for that. So I don't think I'm gonna go over that. So I think what I'm gonna do is this. I think that first and foremost, I hope that I didn't upset anybody today. Because it was not my intentions. And hopefully this did not cause anybody distress or just, duress. But I would say that there are, like I say, if something like this has occurred to you, or something like this has not occurred to you, if this is something that unfortunately that you have been experienced to, I truly hope that you are getting help through counseling, and that hopefully you're getting the help that you need. I do know that that's important. Because you have to find a way to deal with this in a healthy manner. Because this is one thing that I do know. Okay. I used to have bitterness. There were some people in my life that hurt me. Now, they didn't hurt me in this type of manner, but they hurt me nonetheless. And carrying that bitterness and resentment in me, it festered, and it made me a lesser person. And through learning how to forgive the person, not because they deserve forgiveness, mind you, this learning to forgive the person was for me, not for that person. Learning how to let go of that stuff and let go of that baggage made me a better person. It removed that bitterness and that anger from my heart. And I don't carry that stuff around with me anymore. And I don't think about that stuff anymore. It does not occupy my brain, right? Because when I forgave the people and I forgave the person, because it didn't happen all at once. I didn't forgive them all at once. But when I was working through the process and I was working through it, when I forgave that person, then I was allowed to move on, and I was not held in place, and I was not held in that particular time. And I didn't constantly relive all that garbage and all that turmoil and all that strife and all that stuff that occurred, right? And I forgave them and I moved on, and I don't think about them anymore. And even to the point where, quite honestly, I don't even remember their names anymore. I have remembrance of that time when I was very bitter and jaded, and but I don't I don't remember the people, right? And as time goes by, it gets even more faded about what even happened, right? And I don't even remember what was said, and I don't remember what was done, and I don't even remember why I was mad, and I don't even remember what they did to hurt me, right? So, and some people have to do that through counseling, right? Some people, that's what, they do. Uh, Me personally, I was able to do it through my faith. Not my religion, but my faith. And through my understanding and studying, um, and growing, um, I was able to forgive and to put that stuff behind me, and it made me a better person, right? So if any of you guys if any of you guys have had trauma and things that have happened in your life, and like I say, everybody's different and everybody has different ways of dealing with these things, I would encourage you, if you're not a person of faith, and if that's not something that appeals to you, that's fine. But find a person, a counselor, right, a therapist, that can help you get the tools on how to close the chapter for in the book of your life, to where you can close it and move on. Because I promise you, it will make you a happier and it will make you a healthier person. And I'll tell you something right now. In my own experience, it didn't happen overnight. It was a process that took years, right? But the sooner you get started on it and the sooner that you do it, the better you will be. And I can tell you this. If some of you guys, sometimes if you're struggling because you're single and you can't seem to find that right person for you, right? You may not be able to find that right person because you've got this in your life. And this whatever it is preventing you from being able to see some of the really great people that are around you, right? That could be a really good person for you, right? Just some things to consider. I know that when I myself started dealing with some of my issues and I started putting some of that stuff to bed, to put it away, to lock it away, right? Um, and that's when I discovered the mighty Ms. Riv. And through her helping me, right, and her encouraging me, and her showing me what faith was versus religion, right, I was able to deal with the rest of it. And there is a story I will tell one of these days of about a very personal, a very intimate part of my life and a transformation that occurred. A very visible, very, but I'll have to get to a point where I can tell this story and not just bawl like a baby. Because when I tell this story, I get very, very emotional. And so I'm going to have to get to a point where I can, because even now, and this is, guys, this is 20 something years later, right? And it was where I was finally able to take the final few things that was really holding me back as a person and deal with it once and for all. And the transformation that occurred instantaneously. And I mean it instantaneously, and how it affected the people around me. And it's a great story. And it is a story I will tell you guys somewhere, maybe this week, maybe I'll get to where I can do that. I don't know. But I think it's a really good story. And I think it's a story that I think maybe some of you guys might need to hear. because maybe it might help you. So anyway, all right. So I think I'm gonna wrap it up. How long have we been going now, guys? Because I kind of want to do a little bit. I wanted to do a little extra today because we didn't get to have our time yesterday. So we've been going for about almost 2 hours, hour and 40 minutes. Okay. So I'm going to wrap things up because we've got family members that are arriving today, starting today for the holiday season. So it's going to get chaotic and crazy here, right? But remember, guys, tomorrow evening, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard, Clear as Mud podcast. We are going to be having D-Max is going to be joining us. 100% he's going to be joining us. That is, we've got that locked and loaded and confirmed. We are going to be talking about how do I tease this without and make you guys really want to tune into it. We're going to be talking about a situation that recently occurred involving probably one of the most polarizing people in this community. And Banana has assured me, because I'm going to tell you something, guys, on this podcast Sunday, PeePaw is probably not going to be talking a whole lot, and I'm going to be focusing more on just producing, because Banana has got a take on this situation that he has assured me that, and he's watched and he's read and he's done. He said nobody else has this take. And I'm going to tell you guys are going to want to tune in for his and D-Max's conversation about this, because D-Max has a very has a history with this person going back many years. I'm not overselling this, guys. I'm telling you, it is going to be a podcast that you're going to tune into. It is going to be Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Clear as Mud podcast. Okay. Then remember, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I will be live here at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, and we'll do our morning coffee with PeePaw, and we'll talk about things and what have you, and then like I said, we'll PeePaw's going to take a break because for holiday I got family and obligations and things that I got to do some traveling and what have you and so forth. But anyway, until then, I want you to maybe hug your loved ones a little bit tighter. Spend some time with friends and family this weekend. Tune in tomorrow afternoon to see us. Tune in next week to see me. I'm not sure what Dead on Dave's going to be doing next week. I haven't really conversed with him a whole lot. I'm sure he's going to be doing lost shows. But anyway, until then, guys, remember, keep your powder dry, and I'll see you in the funny papers.